And joining us now from Washington is the aforementioned John Solomon. All right, so this all began with Tulsi Gabbard, director of intelligence, putting forth that, there may be some criminal charges here. The media has largely ignored it on the left, and the right-wing media has, stoked it. Would that be accurate so far?
That is a complete accurate picture. Yep.
Yep, you're not going to get this in a Washington Post, New York Times, Network News. Let's start with the most important person in the investigation, President Obama.
Yes.
What do we know about his participation or lack thereof in the Russian collusion story?
What we know from the evidence that's now public, which we didn't all see years ago when this began unraveling, is that in late July of 2016, right after Hillary Clinton was cleared in the email case, even though there had just been new evidence surfaced that maybe she had been compromised in her email. They didn't investigate it. They clear her. She makes a pivot. The Russian government intercepts her aides talking about she's approved a plan to fake a Russian scandal to change the dialogue from her emails to Donald Trump's alleged complicity with Russia. They know.
All right, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
So this came out of a Russian informant? Is that what?
Yeah.
We believe it's
the way it's been described, John, by John Durham. It looks like it's a highly classified program of intercepts. We probably intercepted their intelligence or their people being briefed on intelligence.
According to Durham, the special counsel, U.S. Intel intercepted some Russian chat, that said Hillary Clinton knew and wanted a phony story about Donald Trump. Do I have that right?
That's right.
Okay.
It did. And specifically to end the conversation about her email scandal. That's the part that's very important.
All right. They would divert attention away from it.
All
right. Now, you would have to then see what the intercept was and put it in context in order to, condemn Hillary Clinton. So Barack Obama, then what's his participation?
So that intercept is made by the United States government on July 26, 2016. On July 28th, just 2 days later, the CIA director at the time, John Brennan, was so concerned about what the Russians knew and the specificity of it, he decided to brief President Barack Obama directly. That's unusual because if you thought it was disinformation, you're not going to waste the president's time on it.
How do we know that Brennan debriefed Obama on this story?
We have a record of the meeting on the president's schedule, and then John Brennan comes out of that meeting and writes notes, and we have the direct notes of what John Brennan told the president that John Brennan wrote in his notes.
What did he tell Barack Obama?
That there was foreign intelligence, that that Hillary Clinton had personally approved a plan to demonize President Donald Trump by suggesting he was in cahoots with Russia to hijack the 2016 election. That's specifically what they say.
What was Obama's reply to what Brennan told him?
We don't know. Barack Obama has never been questioned, and John Brennan says he doesn't quite recall much about that conversation.
Doesn't recall.
Right.
Where did Brennan say he doesn't recall?
He was questioned in Congress, I believe, in 2023 by Matt Gaetz, and he's a little vague on that. There's also some references in the Durham report. They're a little cryptic, and so one of the things we think should be released soon, we're working to get, is the actual transcript of John Durham's 8-hour interview with John Brennan. We think that could be an important piece of evidence.
Obviously. Okay, so let's advance the story now. So you've got Brennan debriefing Obama on Russian intercepts that accuse Hillary Clinton of fabricating a story to damage Trump. What happens after President Obama hears that from Brennan?
In the 6-day period that follows that briefing, there's an extraordinary amount of activity. First, an Australian diplomat that has a long relationship with the Clintons. His name is Alexander Downer. He had donated a large amount of Australian tax dollars to the Clinton Foundation, longtime friend of the Clintons. He comes forward and tells the FBI, I remember this conversation from May, and I think the Trump campaign might have been working with Russia to hack the election. The very storyline that the Russians are actually intercepting that Hillary Clinton says that's going to be the fake story. He comes forward. based on that information, the FBI opens the Crossfire Hurricane investigation.
All right. So a friend
on
of the
31st.
Clintons,
Yep. Yep.
tells who? The FBI? Is that
Comes into the FBI. Yeah.
So he goes
makes
to
a
the
report,
FBI.
volunteers a report.
All right. This is James Comey. He says that he has information that
Yes,
the
sir.
Russian intercept is bull, that there was
No.
a real.
No, what he's
Go
saying,
ahead.
no, actually, what he's saying is back in May, he had an interaction with a Trump staffer, I believe it's George Papadopoulos, and he walked away from that conversation thinking that George Papadopoulos might have been hinting that
Might have been.
that
All right,
Donald
I
Trump,
got it.
right.
So he's trying to
Yeah,
reinforce the validity
He is.
of the story.
That's
Okay.
right.
So Comey then opens an investigation, right?
That's right. Pete Strzok, right. That's the agent who
Okay.
does it. Yep.
And then what happens after that?
3 days after the investigation's open, President Obama convenes a national security meeting in the Situation Room. And there he brings in his top people, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey. Very important that he's in that meeting. And he orders that a fusion cell be stood up to begin investigating whether Russia is working with Donald Trump or on its own to influence the election.
Okay,
Now,
let's stop there.
Yeah.
So Obama convenes a meeting,
Right?
all right? And what was Clapper, Director of National Intelligence? Did he have anything to do with this? Did he contribute anything to this?
He's part of the effort to set up that fusion cell. He's the top intelligence officer in the land, so he's
But
supervising the project.
But his crew intercepted the Russian thing that
Well, it's
said
probably the
this is
CIA.
all bogus.
Probably the CIA did the intercept. Yeah, so one down from him. CIA is one of those agencies that report up to Clapper. The CIA is the one who gets that intercept and then
Right.
alerts the
Okay, but
president.
Clapper knew about it. Is
Definitely.
Clapper refuting it or saying, no, it's real? Do we know?
We don't know. We don't
Okay,
know.
we don't
He's
know what
never been
Clapper's
questioned.
opinion was.
Right?
So
Yeah, we
Obama's
don't.
got all his guys in there,
Yep.
and they're all talking about this back and forth. So far, if I
Right.
were president, I'd have my guys in there too. I
Sure.
would be talking about this, right? Wouldn't
I
you?
agree.
Okay.
I would.
All right. So far, we have Brennan, little nebulous. We have Hillary accused of the mastermind of all this.
Right.
Then, after the meeting,
Right.
Comey carries on his investigation, right?
Yes, sir. He does.
Does he come to a conclusion?
He decides that it is worth, by September, escalating to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, the FISA court, the special spy court in
Okay,
America.
so 2 months before the election,
Right.
Comey uses this unverified information that's been challenged
Right.
by the Russian intercept to get
Right.
warrants
That's
to what? Eavesdrop on the Trump campaign?
That's right. Specifically, Carter Page, which would give him a backdoor into the entire Trump campaign in Russia. So
Okay.
2 months before, they're spying on the opposition party's campaign.
Did Comey ever explain why he used unverified information to get a court-appointed wire?
He has said that he thought it met the standards for the FISA warrant. We
He
now
thought he
know
met
from
the standards. Okay.
that's right.
All
Right.
right.
We now know it didn't meet the standards. Right.
Of course, because
Right.
all the story's phony. All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
From the
All
beginning.
right. But then Obama did he step back and let the FBI do what they do, or did he get involved
did.
further?
He stays out of it all the way through the election. Obviously, Donald Trump does the, I think, unthinkable for Democrats. He beats Hillary Clinton.
Right.
And then there's a very important pivot after that.
Okay.
now-
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. So
Right.
from the time he held his cabinet meeting about the
Right.
Russian collusion accusation to
Yep.
election day,
That's
Barack
right.
Obama really didn't have any kind of, he wasn't
None that we know of.
proactive.
No, we don't know of any other events. Right.
All right, he wasn't proactive. I mean, you'd have to have a whistleblower come up and say
That's right.
that he did. You know, he was
That's
behind
right.
it. All right, so after Trump beats Clinton, then
Yeah,
Barack
and let me-
Obama swings into some kind of action. What was that?
Yeah, let me give you 2 other little data points because I think they're going to be important as we go down this map. I don't want to lose the timeline for people.
Okay.
July 5th is the day that James Comey magically waved his magic wand and said, I'm absolving Hillary Clinton. The FBI doesn't have the right to do that, but
Right.
he did it.
We all
That's
remember.
July 5th.
Right.
And remember what the Russians intercepted, that this was a pivot point, that Hillary wanted to change the conversation from her email scandal to a fake Donald Trump scandal.
Right.
That same day, July 5th, 2016, the same day She knows James Comey is clearing her. Christopher Steele walks into the FBI with the first version of his dossier. So literally on the exact same day, when people look and say, boy, these are some coincidences that are serious, the day that she's getting absolved is the day she starts the Steele dossier. She's paid for the Steele dossier. Steele
Sure.
walks in,
Look,
and that
the
process goes through.
circumstantial evidence
Yeah.
is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Now,
Overwhelming. Okay.
one more date.
Go ahead.
While Obama was sitting president, not doing anything, in September, the intelligence community, James Clapper, James Brennan, all the experts, all 17 intelligence agencies say, listen, there's some evidence that Russia did the hacking on Hillary Clinton's emails. They're doing some typical countermeasures we normally see, but we do not believe that Vladimir Putin is trying to pick one candidate over the other. That is the assessment of all 17 agencies. So the belief is, all right, there might have been some normal funny business that Russia does every time, but they're just trying to sow mischief. They're not trying to pick one candidate over the other. That is the assessment.
What did Brennan and Clapper say about that consensus? Anything on the record?
They delivered it. They were the ones who delivered to the president.
Okay,
So,
they
at that
didn't
point, they're backing their
dispute
community.
it.
No,
They didn't dispute
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right. So then in December, President-elect Trump is gathering his crew, and
That's right.
Barack Obama reinserts himself into this. What does he do?
He does. There's an incredible moment that occurs just before he gets activated. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, so late November 2016, the intelligence community comes back and said, we think we were right. It is clear that Vladimir Putin didn't try to sway the election towards Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. In fact, the best evidence of it is what's happened in October. In October of 2016, when most Americans are making up their mind about who they're going to pick, the debates are going on, that's the majority of Americans decide last minute, Vladimir Putin withdrew all of his countermeasures in the United States. He was not trying to drop any more damaging.
Okay,
He had damaging
and
information.
Obama acknowledges all of this?
Well, it's briefed, right? It is briefed. So on the end of November, the Gang of Eight in Congress is briefed on this, which is our assessment that we gave you and the president in September appears to be accurate. And the best evidence is that last month of the election, Vladimir Putin pulled out. He had more shots he could have fired at Hillary Clinton. He doesn't fire them. He holds them back. And in fact, he seems resigned in October that he was going to have Hillary Clinton as a president. They briefed that to Congress, and now they're about to brief it to Obama. They're supposed to tell Obama that on December 9th. And a funny thing happens. Obama convenes a meeting on December 5th, approximately, and decides he wants a new intelligence assessment. The one he was about to get, we don't know. We don't know the reason.
So he doesn't like this one.
Yeah.
He wants
or
another
someone doesn't
one.
like this one. That's right. And Congress has already been given the information.
How do we
so it's
know
kinda
that?
odd.
How do we know that Obama wanted a new intelligence assessment of Russian collusion?
In the just declassified House Intelligence Committee report that did a review of this whole episode, there is a specific executive order that the House Intelligence Committee was showing that Barack Obama ordered a new intelligence assessment.
A new assessment. Okay. What does that indicate? So maybe he just wanted to be 100% correct, or, is there
two possibilities? Yeah. Two possibilities from the testimony of people that we've been able to read. One is there were people who just didn't like that assessment. They wanted to push the narrative that Hillary Clinton lost.
Right.
Yeah, Donald Trump cheated to win. There are other people, when the president hears this, other people say, well, the president's hearing that from some people and he sees the intelligence community. He's got two different sides of the story. He wants everybody to go back to the
wants some
drawing
clarity.
board. Look more time. Yeah, and that could be a reasonable thing to do.
So far, I haven't heard anything about Barack Obama that's going to get him indicted by a federal grand jury. I have heard that Hillary Clinton is in big trouble. Brennan, you would have to have, in the report that you just referred to, which is a majority report. It was written by Republicans, but there was no dissent from the Democrats on the committee, and Schiff was the head of that. No written dissent at all.
No, none.
Because I had to argue with Cuomo about that. But anyway, what's the most damning evidence against Brennan?
So when he takes over this new assessment, the normal way you do it is you bring all 17 people back to the chair. You get your 17 intelligence aides. Let's all come together and let's give the president the best thing. He doesn't do that. He cuts everybody out of the picture except for the CIA, who he runs, the FBI, who James Comey runs, and the NSA, who's run by a guy named Admiral Mike Rogers, who, by the way, warns President Trump in a meeting during the transition that I think the intelligence community may be spying on you. So be careful. Maybe you should move out of New York and go to Washington. Very important moment. He had concerns about what was going on. So instead of a full assessment, John Brennan brings it down to the two agencies that have been pursuing Trump for the last years, and then Mike Rogers, the NSA guy. And they do a rush job. They handpick their own people. They don't let the agencies pick their people. And they inject to get to the point that they need to, or to get to the point that they ultimately decide on, that they're going to flip the conclusion. No, Vladimir Putin really was helping Donald Trump. They have to do two things.
So the new assessment that Obama ordered says that all of the other evidence is wrong, that Putin did try to undermine the election. Correct?
That's right. That is correct.
Right.
That's
so
180.
Brennan has some debt. Looks like he's a Clapper. I don't know if he's got a deficit or not. Do you think he's in trouble?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
Well, listen, he would know what was going on.
He had to know what was going on. It's whether he promoted it or not.
That's right. That's right.
And then Comey had to know what was going on too, right?
He definitely, because he is the guy that wants the Steele dossier put into the ICA, the intelligence assessment. There's only two things in the assessment that, according to the John Durham report and now the House Intelligence Committee report, that leaned into the notion that Vladimir Putin put his finger on the scale for Trump. The first is the Steele dossier,
which was
the idea. It was, and by the way,
totally
in December,
made up.
It was already known to be phony.
Right.
Christopher Steele's been
but he
fired.
wanted it. Comey wanted it in the record anyway. That's a deficit.
Brennan
for
does
Comey.
that. Yeah, that's. And Brennan pushes his staff. Brennan's staff tells him. We've seen the emails. This would be a disgrace to the intelligence community to put this in an official assessment. It would harm all the other good work we've done. He orders it. He says, "I don't care. You're putting it in."
All right.
And then there's one other thing.
Let's stop there.
Yeah. Right.
So it's a lot for the audience to absorb.
It is. It is.
So here's from what you have just told me, and I'm not challenging any of what you just told me. I think it's 100% accurate. It looks to me like there's not enough to go after Obama at this point.
Right.
There is enough to go after Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
There is enough to go after Brennan.
Right.
Clapper, not enough right now.
I think those are fair assessments.
There is enough. So it would be
Comey's got
Hillary,
a lot of issues at this point.
Brennan, and Comey would be the three that you could bring into a grand jury, a federal grand jury, and say they committed a massive fraud violating every election law.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. And let me mention something that people say about Barack Obama. It's based on the evidence. And again, this is the contrarian side to that. I could argue Barack Obama would do what a president would do if there was conflict in front of him. The one thing that Barack Obama, we don't have an answer to, we need to press him. We've tried, he won't give us an answer, is after you knew that there was a suspicion that Hillary Clinton was setting this all in motion, and then you're told the FBI has opened up a fusion cell and they're looking at it, why didn't you say something? Are you sure that we're not, he doesn't seem to object to it. That's the one thing, that's a judgment thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if it's criminal, but it's a judgment question.
You're never going to get it because he'll claim executive privilege if Congress calls him. He'll claim executive privilege if the FBI goes in to try to investigate him.
That's right.
And then the Supreme Court has ruled, as in the Trump case, that under the executive branch, it's got all kinds of powers. All right, John, very good. And I think we did about as good a job as we could to lay it out to everybody in a very confusing situation where we are right now. And I hope you'll keep in touch with us when you get new stuff.
I will.
This is an unbelievably important story for the country.
Tomorrow is going to be the most important day of all the revelations we've had this year, Bill. We should keep an eye on it. I believe it'll be Senator Chuck Grassley will release this classified annex of the Durham report. And in that report, we're going to learn something very important. We're going to learn that the FBI also knew, like Barack Obama, that Hillary had set this fake story in motion, and they decided to proceed with evidence that they knew was coming from Hillary Clinton. That's going to be the first time. It's a very important moment.
That's a crime.
And then it's important because one other thing. I want to take us just 1 week ahead, just because I'll leave them at a cliffhanger. But in January, for the first time, Barack Obama does something that a lot of people are deeply concerned about. In fact, an FBI agent wrote personal notes saying how concerned he was about it. After they released the Intelligence Committee assessment that's flip-flopped, the FBI has decided that Mike Flynn, the incoming national security advisor, did nothing wrong. They want to shut the investigation of Mike Flynn down. On the same day that Barack Obama is releasing this new Intelligence Committee assessment that does the 180-degree flip,
Right.
he presides over a meeting at the White House. And at that meeting, they're told the FBI has cleared Mike Flynn, and they sit with Joe Biden and other top aides saying, how can we keep an investigation of Mike Flynn going, even though he's not done anything wrong? And they scheme up an idea. They talk about the Logan Act. That wasn't going to be applied, but they talked about it. And they come up with the idea, let's get him to an interview.
That'll be
Maybe
that's
he'll
going
lie
to
in
be
the
a
interview.
separate case, though. That'll be a
Yeah,
separate
it is,
case
but
than this.
Might
Sure.
be viewed as a continuation of a conspiracy. That's what
Sure.
some people feel.
All right. John Solomon, thanks again.
Good
We
stuff.
really appreciate it. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com if you have any questions, okay? All right, real quick.